Hello, from a powerful, destructive tornado in Kansas to unbelievably rare footage from Calavan, Turkey. Today, you'll witness what happens when Mother Nature gets angry and reveals her full, crushing power. It seemed like just another ordinary hike in Vandeged. The guide had led tourists through the valley countless times. But that day, everything went differently. In just seconds, a small stream of pebbles turned into a landslide racing down with terrifying speed. Luckily, the guide noticed the danger in time. Otherwise, this hike would have ended in tragedy. Surely the group will never forget that moment. Traveling in the mountains is always filled with unpredictable consequences. A group of tourists was exploring the Tian Shan when one of them suddenly heard the crack of ice. And then it happened. He managed to capture footage that looked absolutely epic. But the avalanche was moving much faster than he imagined, and soon it caught up with him. Fortunately, everyone survived and continued the journey, though deeply shaken by what they had just lived through. Here's something you won't find in glossy travel brochures. During a volcanic eruption, one of the craters collapsed, unleashing a flow of destruction. It moved slowly, but its heat burned everything in its path. Streetlights lit up like matches. People managed to evacuate, but some homes and cars were swallowed by lava. What was supposed to be a quiet day in a Swiss village turned into chaos. Within minutes, torrents of mud flooded the streets. You might think a mudslide isn't as dangerous as a hurricane, but just look how quickly it covered everything. Cars were swept away, buildings collapsed, and although the houses were empty, residents must have been shocked watching the security camera footage. Powerful thunderstorms are among nature's clearest signs of anger. They terrify people and disrupt daily life. Students at a university witnessed a lightning bolt strike a power line, causing an instant explosion. Not only was it terrifying, but it also left the area without electricity for some time. On most days, this volcano looks like any other. But a few years ago, the eruption of Hunga Tonga in Polynesia caused the largest atmospheric explosion ever recorded. The consequences were staggering. Nearby countries were hit by tsunamis, and the sound traveled 170 kilometers. Scientists claim the eruption was more powerful than an atomic bomb. This video could easily be mistaken for a scene from an apocalyptic movie.
Ow.
But in reality, it was the sky over Laguna, Brazil. Massive black clouds descended over the city, threatening. What would come next? Workers at a factory heard strange noises outside. When they opened the gates, they couldn't believe their eyes. A storm with pounding rain and violent winds reduced visibility to almost zero. They were lucky to be in shelter, and sometimes storms bring an even nastier surprise, a tornado. Residents of Alberta, Canada, are used to harsh weather, but this sight was terrifying. Just look at the scale. A massive black funnel looked ready to devour the entire city. Yet surprisingly, it only passed over fields, sparing homes. Locals must have been relieved. But in Kansas, the tornado wasn't so merciful. With winds reaching 265 kilometers per hour, it tore through a small town, ripping roofs away and destroying entire houses. The cleanup will take years, but the main thing is that people survived. Water is life, but it can also destroy. In seconds, it can erode the ground beneath a house, bringing it down before stunned onlookers. During Hurricane Fiona, heavy rainfall caused catastrophic flooding. A massive metal bridge was swept away like it was made of plastic. Workers stood in shock as the powerful current destroyed everything in seconds. Out in the open sea lies one of the most dangerous waters on Earth, the Drake Passage. It takes ships 2 days to cross, and during that time, anything can happen. Giant storms whip up waves as high as 15 meters. Captains call it one of the greatest challenges of the ocean. When storm clouds roll in, it looks even more terrifying. China also faced nature's fury when, in a single day, the country experienced a 90 degrees Celsius temperature difference. In the coldest regions, it dropped below minus 50 degrees Celsius, causing instant freezing. Ice storms paralyzed life for days, coating entire cities in ice. Beautiful to watch if you were safe inside a warm home, but sometimes it's worse. Entire buildings froze over. Covered in thick ice, Canada experienced something similar when waves crashed into coastal homes. The water instantly froze, turning houses into ice sculptures. Picturesque, yes, but for the residents, a nightmare. Volcanic eruptions are breathtaking, but also terrifying. In Guatemala, Santiago had erupted, sending ash plumes 5 kilometers into the sky. Ash fell across towns within a 40-kilometer radius. One of the luckiest men in India wasn't a millionaire, but this guy, who narrowly escaped being crushed by falling boulders during a rock slide. Sometimes survival comes down to a single second. That region of India is notorious for landslides, often triggered by construction and blasting in the mountains. Luckily, the cameraman's instincts saved him. Welcome to Nepal, where there are around 500 natural disasters each year, mostly landslides during the monsoon season. To see such destruction with your own eyes is unforgettable. Engineers often underestimate the raw force of nature. Imagine wind so powerful that it rips roofs off homes like sheets of paper. Gusts of just 90 kilometers per hour can uproot trees and destroy buildings, and sometimes storms take on a terrifying form, a derecho. A fast-moving system of violent winds, thunderstorms, and hail. It swept through several U.S. states with winds over 110 kilometers per hour, leaving cities unrecognizable by morning. Earthquakes, we learn about them in school, but reality is different. Along the border of China and Kyrgyzstan, one geological shift triggered over 4,000 tremors, including several major earthquakes in Japan. Residents are trained for earthquakes, but even they were shocked that day. Authorities quickly warned of a tsunami, but remarkably, infrastructure like train stations survived intact. Hailstorms are common, but not like this. Ice stones the size of tennis balls smashed cars in Kansas and Missouri, leaving scenes that look like a war zone. Even locals used to wild weather were stunned. In Spain's San Sebastian, surfers enjoy big waves year-round, but no one dares during tsunamis. Tourists, however, eagerly recorded the raging waters from a safe distance. In Italy, storms have also surprised residents, flooding streets and swallowing cars parked by the shore in China. Sandstorms turned cities into post-apocalyptic landscapes. Winds carried walls of dust at 15 meters per second, reducing visibility. 2-0. Avalanches sometimes block entire highways, leaving dozens of roads impassable. Meanwhile, sinkholes suddenly swallow streets when floods and underground voids combine. In Antarctica, amateur photographer Kristen Hennon captured breathtaking moments during a 3-month expedition. Her instincts allowed her to film at exactly the right time. Applause in the UAE. Authorities tried cloud seeding to bring rain to drought-hit regions. But things didn't go as planned, and the results shocked residents instead of helping them.